If when customers called for service, we could tell them precisely when a service technician would be knocking on their door? Ah, yes. But unfortunately, we all know that simply isn't possible. There are far too many variables involved in handling plumbing, heating, air conditioning, and electrical problems for a CSR or dispatcher to accurately and consistently predict exactly when a service technician would be arriving at a job site. In fact, it's sometimes even difficult to narrow it down to less than several hours. And that period of several hours we refer to as a time window. The vast majority of C2000 shops use fairly broad time windows to schedule service calls. The most common window is a half day, which in most cases equals 4 hours. So if I were to call for service, a CSR might tell me that a technician will look at the problem sometime between 8 a.m. and 12 noon. Or, if the afternoon is more convenient, between 12 noon and 4 p.m. Some shops offer even wider time windows, such as 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. and 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. And why is this such a common general policy? We already know that being exact is difficult, if not impossible. But why such broad time frames? The answer is flexibility. The time windows need to be broad because a dispatcher needs as much flexibility as possible in assigning jobs to service technicians. And why is that? Because there are so many different factors to consider. For instance, who's next on the rotation? Who's nearest the job site? And who's best qualified to handle the job? Just to name a few. However, using time windows that are half days as the norm also provides flexibility for the CSRs. You see, most customers will normally accept a half-day window for their service appointment. But there are those who, for one reason or another, cannot be home for a long period of time. The reasons are endless. You know, they have to pick up the kids, they have an important doctor's appointment, they'll miss their deadline at work, etc., etc. So rather than lose the call and the potential business it represents, the CSR can offer progressive time windows. This means if the standard 4-hour time window is not acceptable to a customer, the CSR can try narrowing the span of time to better accommodate the customer's schedule.
Oh yes, I can appreciate how important it is for you to be there. Tell me, what time is your meeting? Okay, then why don't I have our technician arrive between 2 and 5 instead of 1 and 5? Would that give you enough time to get back home?
If the first try doesn't do the trick, you might try for an even narrower window to see if that helps book the call.
Oh, well, I do have a technician available a little later, between 9 and 12 instead of 8 and 12. Would that be more convenient? Oh, I understand. Okay, when do you need to take him to daycare? Well, in that case, I think I can squeeze you in between 10 and 12. That way you can drop him off, have the problem taken care of, and still make your afternoon appointment. Would that work? Fabulous. All right then.
The goal of offering progressive time windows is, of course, to maximize customer service by adjusting your scheduling to better suit the needs of your customers. But it's important not to use progressive time windows unless you really need to. Save the option as your ace in the hole to help you book the call when you might otherwise lose a customer. You'll find that many customers neither need nor request more specific appointment times. And the more flexibility the dispatcher has, the better service your shop can provide. But what is the best way to identify when to offer progressive time windows? Well, one great method is to simply ask the customer.
So it doesn't sound like the blower is going on at all, no matter what setting you try. Okay, I've got that down. Now, when would it be most convenient to send one of our professional technicians to service your problem? 3 p.m.? Okay, now, due to the nature of our business, it's difficult to be exact, but I can schedule a technician to arrive at your home sometime between 12 noon and 4 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. Would that be convenient? Great. I just have a couple more questions for you.
Finally, I want to talk a little bit about timing. You see, asking customers when they would like service or offering progressive time windows may not always be possible under certain conditions. If the shop is very busy, you may have such limited availability that you may have no scheduling options. In this case, instead of asking about convenience, you would have to tell customers what time windows are available. Being aware of the changing conditions under which the shop operates means maintaining proper communication between CSRs and dispatch. Always check with your dispatcher prior to offering progressive time windows, because although customer service is our #1 priority, scheduling service within narrow time windows under the wrong conditions can lead to unhappy customers and lost business.
Okay, well, if you can't be there between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m., how about 10 a.m. and 5 p.m.? Okay, let me think. Of course we want your business. I know. What about, let's say 2 p.m.? Can you handle that, ma'am? Good. Yeah. Oh, he'll be there, not to worry.
No. I know she told you that he was going to be there at 2 o'clock, but it ain't going to happen, all right? No. I got more calls than I can handle right now, lady, all right? We are swamped over here. No. We've been swamped since yesterday. No. Well, nobody should have promised you that, okay? No. I got that you're missing work, all right? Ain't my problem, all right? Well, there is no need for that kind of talk right now. No, you don't have to go telling your friends, okay? Hey, no. What? Yeah. Hey, you there? Hey. Ah, jeez. Hey, Trixie, get in here, please, huh? What is this?
Well, that's all for this week's topic. I hope you found it both interesting and helpful. Goodbye, and I'll see you next time.